All right, we are live. So, my name is Jeremy with Gordonite Games. Hopefully, soon to be Body Vandals Publishing Group. We'll see. Um, Tonight we are playing Mothership. We have 2 players. If you guys want to introduce yourselves and if you have a channel or whatever, plug it or not, whatever.
Go ahead, man.
To me, oh, sorry, cool. Yeah, I'm Brendan. You probably see me floating around on the odd sort of actual play on YouTube, maybe once or twice on Twitch, but I don't really have anything set up. So good luck finding me. And I am playing Corporal Wiskowski, the Marine, for this game.
Howdy, everybody. I'm Joe, keeper of the YouTube channel, The 1 Foot Wall. It's a tiny channel. It's a tiny wall. Tonight, for Mothership, I'm playing the Android Chief Engineer, Cord A7. In a familiar situation, you can call me Cord or A7, but generally, Engineer Cord or Chief Engineer. So that's it.
Dope. So, you all are and have been on the space station Century for quite some time now. You rely completely on supplies from the outside. You guys are deep in space, and the majority of the ship is doing research, and you do have an android to help with maintenance and everything like that. So you normally get supplies every 60 days, like I told you. And you have supplies on board for 90 days at any given moment. You all are day 89 of no word from the supply ship or anything like that. On board with you is Commander Richard Lancer. He's a scientist. He is doing experiments on like the botany and hydroponics and everything like that. And then there is also Sophie Maluski. And she is also kind of a general like helper on board. She's not really collecting data. She kind of lounges around. And basically just does repairs and spacewalks and stuff like that. Actually, let's say that that's what she's doing. She's collecting data for spacewalks and stuff like that. So, you guys are, like I said, day 89. You're starting to watch Sophie and Richard degrade insanity, and maybe even your own selves. So let's start off with like 1d10 stress just for fun.
All right. Looks like I'm starting at a 6.
I think it starts at 2, right? So did you get 4 or did you?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it starts at 2.
That's right. I'm starting at 8.
So add the 1d10.
That's right. That's an 8 total. I rolled a 6.
So, and if you've read the rules, it says that you take 1 stress every time you fail a sanity or fear save. That's not right. That's actually part of the errata now. So it's 1d10 for stress. And if you haven't checked it out, we'll go through panic and everything like that when we get there. But like I said earlier, everything that you would imagine to be on the station is there. It's a very small, tight, cramped station, but it does have various modules, different places for sleeping, different places for doing the experimentation, and in places where there's panels for the controls of the life systems and everything like that.
Excellent. All right, and I think I think that for starters, I think Cord is, after making sure that everything is as maintained as it can be, as far as main systems go. I think again he's going to be attempting to hail the transport ship that normally would have been bringing us our supplies.
So
That's where he's at.
if you were to attempt to like contact the transport ship, everything is dead. So they're not halfway there like that. Like I said, that's normally whenever you get contact with them. So
Yeah, still just no response.
yep.
I think then I'm gonna get on the comms. Commander Richard. Commander.
And he goes to the nearest intercom and says, "Yeah, Cord, what is it?"
There is still no signal from the transport vessel for our supply drop.
Oh, I know. I bet
Would
they're
you
not
like-
fucking coming.
None of the sensors show that they are. I have had no indication whatsoever of any ship approaching our vicinity. Would you like me to continue trying in a few hours?
It doesn't matter anymore.
Are you feeling well, Captain? Commander.
I'm just fucking fine, Cord. I'm just fucking fine.
Very well. And signal the comm stop.
So, like, what would Wiskowski have been doing for the past, 30 days or so after not receiving any? Or actually, probably 60, Like, what would you have been doing for the past 60 days?
So to begin with, it would have been an alteration of the actual study that Wazowski is doing, because it's meant to be long-term fitness and zero-G. So he's probably looking at the decrease in sort of supplementation of muscle retention. And that was probably about half the way through. And as the supplies continue to dwindle, it's more and more time away from that, and more time is spent on reading religious texts and talking about how we're basically little comments that indicate that he's starting to say that we're reaching our own judgment.
So, like I said, you hear Richard, Commander Lancer, kind of unraveling on the intercom. Would you have been like in the same room with him, Wiskowski?
I think I would have been, yeah. And as this was over the intercom, Wazowski, I imagine being a highly pressurized environment, a cigarette's out of the question. So an e-cigarette is probably what he's actually smoking at the time. And he just lets out this strong puff of smoke. Some men take judgment less well than others. Honestly, I just wish we had more than the strawberry Pop-Tarts.
And he's like, Wiskowski, I think you might be right. I've been hearing things.
Mm.
There's something out there. This is definitely some sort of judgment. You're right.
Well, keep your heart open.
And I think even then, you'd probably take a fear save, just from him being like super weird about there being something out there.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's a D100. And I'm rolling under for a fear save?
Yep.
No, that is a critical failure.
Critical fail. So you got doubles or?
I got 44.
Okay, yeah. So instead of taking 1d10 stress, take 1d10 plus 3.
Ooh, 5 stress. I'm at 11.
11. And I don't know. I think it'd be a good time to see if you panic, right? So,
Absolutely.
just to get the ball rolling. So what you do is you roll 2d10, right? And this is the one time that you're trying to roll above your stress, right?
Okay. So is this a D100 roll or
No, it's just 2d10. So you're
2d10s?
adding 2d10 and trying to get above your stress.
No, that is a 6.
Oh, nice. Already. So I didn't even have it open. I wasn't ready for this. I guess that 1d10 stress to start off with
Yep.
really sets it off. So what you're going to do is roll 2d10 plus your stress, and you're going to take a panic effect.
2d10 plus stress. For 15.
15. So for the next 11 hours, you will be having trouble distinguishing reality from fantasy. So you'll be having hallucinations for the next 11 hours. And those can manifest themselves in any kind of way that you want to play out. So what happens?
Because I've panicked. Oh no, this is every friendly player, not NPCs. Okay, cool. So never mind. Yep.
Well, what is it is like he has to take. I mean, it might play into.
Whenever a Marine panics, every friendly player nearby must make a fear save.
Okay. So you're obviously like visibly. All right, and no. So he starts to like. You start to like. What do you do to kind of set? He sets you off, and then what do you do to set him back off?
So I think I actually reach forward and I grab him and pull him in, so it's very aware of the frag grenades that I've strapped onto myself, pressing it between the two of us on our bodies. And I look him right in the eye real close and say something to the expression of, "Yes, I've seen him too. I've seen him talk. I have seen him walk these walls. Judgment is coming. Judgment is coming from home."
So what is Cord doing right now?
I think after the quick talk on the comms or on the intercom, he would just be going back and reviewing the data from the basic systems. You know, the life support, the propulsion, all the basic machinery. Just checking dials, checking the readouts, and comparing them with the notes from the previous couple hours.
And Sophie is in the same area as you, and she's looking out one of the porthole like windows, and she's kind of like got her like head leaned up against the window like this, and she's like, "This is gonna be our tomb. You know that? This is gonna be where we die."
I am incapable of dying. My power could run out, yes, but then I am still just a thing. Are you concerned about possibly never leaving this place? Are you feeling well?
And she like turns around and she's like, "Of course I'm afraid of never leaving this place. Of course I didn't sign up for this. They said it was gonna be fine. Everything was gonna be safe. Every 60 days they'd be here."
Yes, it has been 89. That is slightly overdue. I am quite certain there was perhaps some small malfunction. They will be along. Why would they not be? Systems run in an orderly fashion for a very specific reason. Deviation from the norm should not be too much cause for concern.
They're probably all fucking dead down there, Cord. And she
Oh.
kind of like as much as you can storm off in a space station, you know what I mean? Like she kind of floats off like the best that she can.
As she floats away, Cord's just going to call out, in the absence of space, and their ship does not slow down. If they were still on course and everyone was dead, their ship would have come within our sensor range.
It went robot there, and it was perfect because I still heard you, and it worked. So it's only like a couple moments, and Wiskowski and Richard see Sophie kind of floating their way. What area of the ship would you guys have been on, or the station?
I think we were probably in the actual mess hall. Like the kitchen area.
The common, it's probably like a multi-purpose common area / eating place, right? So yeah, that makes sense that she would float in there, and she comes in there and she's like, "How much fucking food do we have left? I'm starving."
The kingdom above will keep you well nourished for all eternity.
Richard, what the fuck is he talking about? And Richard kind of looks at her, and he kind of looks at her like with this like weird grin, and he's like, "He's right, you know. He's right." And he kind of like gets a little like close, and then like kind of pushes past her.
All else fails.
Around in underwear behind me.
Wazowski moves over to one of the cupboards with his back to her for a while. See where there's quite visibly his SMG strapped to the back of his hip. And opens up a cupboard to pull out a half-finished bottle of spirits. And turning around says, "All else fails. There's divinity in this," and takes a big sip and then offers the bottle to Sophie.
So you're like having hallucinations right now. What are those like?
So looking to Sophie, there's this kaleidoscopic image behind her of this heavenly procession. And when she sort of moves, it's that Hindu sort of thing where there's all these multiple arms coming out at the same time in like this refracted image.
So Sophie takes it, and she takes a big swig, and she's like, "This is probably the last bottle of alcohol we'll ever drink."
Well then, make sure you savor every moment and pray above.
She takes another huge swig from it. It's only a few minutes after Richard leaves, and then you start hearing like a pounding. And you guys would both hear it, so I think that both of you would need to make a fear save.
The exact same critical fail.
Nice. More panic. All right, so 1d10 stress. Plus the 3 again.
Plus the 3 again. Oh, that's an extra 12 stress.
Is that 12 stress? You got a 9?
I got a 9, yep.
So do you have, how much stress do you have?
23.
Oh my god, you're going to die soon. Holy shit. You're going to have to play
I totally
Sophie.
passed mine.
You're going to have to play, yeah, his fear is 85, so you're going to have to play Sophie here in a minute. So roll 2d10 plus your stress, and tell me what you get.
29.
Oh, that's not good. The higher the number, the worse it is. Let's see.
Well, I mean, a 6 of a roll isn't huge, but yeah, the stress.
All right. So I'm actually going to message you this one privately. Okay. So
Cool.
um,
That doesn't sound good. I think still hearing the pounding. I think Cord would turn on the intercoms. Did anyone else hear the knocking? Is there a malfunction with my audio receptors? I swear it sounded like someone was at the door. Would you like me to answer it to investigate?
You can't answer the door to the drums of war, Cord. But you can heed their calling.
Heeding the call of the drums of war is not necessarily in my programming. Would you like for me to investigate and see about updating my protocols?
Part of me wants to say, yeah, shut down and do that.
I am certain shutdown will be quite imminent. I have been running on a half charge for the last 15 days and 16 hours.
Well, Cord, I don't believe construction like you has a soul. So regardless, I think you'll be the last one to turn off the lights.
I don't need lights. Now, you had mentioned soul. Is that in direct correlation to your belief in a god? Are you drawing comfort from that belief? Would it help if you could see this god? Maybe then space would not feel so empty.
Space is only as empty as your soul. Space is only as empty as your belief. I have seen the face of God. God. I do not feel loneliness any longer.
That is good to know. Because you are not alone. There are 3 other people with you. Well, I am counting myself.
I think you are the only one.
I am delighted to hear that you believe that I am a people. Does this mean you are accepting me as part of the crew?
The right hand, while it is a tool, is still part of the whole.
I can accept these terms. I still would like to see about the knocking.
Don't know if we can.
Yeah, looks like we got lost there for a moment.
Yeah. Oof. I thought it would be fun to not just be the dude with a gun, but also be the religious nut who's good with explosives.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, that could be dangerous.
Yeah. But have you played Dogs in the Vineyard?
No, I have not yet. Not yet.
Okay, every time I play that, I was raised Roman Catholic, so like I just go hard into the religion, and it just gets so dark so quickly.
Sorry about that.
Oh, good.
No worries, man.
Dude, that last part is pretty dope. I'm still trying to, like, I'm having to, because we're not friends on Facebook, I'm having to go, like, through the thing, and it froze while I was doing it. But I just exited out of Discord, which eats up a whole bunch of my shit. So
Yeah.
So
private message through the chat.
I think there's a way, but I don't want to risk accidentally saying what I have to say to you, because that's what I've seen a lot is people try to private message each other and don't get it right the first time. But I message you on Facebook right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so after our conversation, which you should watch that YouTube video, it got pretty badass when you had that little drop there. We kept going.
Good. Good.
After that, Cord is going to go and check the external camera links to see if anything pointed at airlocks or any of the parts of the hull to see if he can try and find a source of this banging.
All right, dope. So, Brendan, I got that message off to you. And so you go and go towards the banging, and you find Richard, and he's like staring out the porthole, and he's like stark white, like completely pale, and he's like, I saw him out there.
Saw who?
And I guess you would make a fear save too.
Yeah. I'm quite certain the crew is accounted for. Oh my god.
Did you fail?
Yeah, I actually failed. I rolled a 93.
One
Dude,
D10
that's a trip.
stress.
That's a trip. I rolled the exact opposite of my previous fear save. Alright, so that's another 4.
All right.
Alright, that bumps me up to 12 total right now.
Let's try a panic check.
Ooh. Alright, that's 2d10 roll over my stress?
Yeah, roll over your stress. And I've kind of been ignoring resolve. I hope you guys don't care, but I don't think it's a thing. I don't need it. So let's not use it.
Alright. So yeah, I rolled a 15.
15?
Which is over that 12.
Okay, so you're fine. You're fine. But yeah, he's like, I saw him out there. What do you do?
After like a slight glitch, because in the android mind, the crew is accounted for. No one can be out there, but the captain or the commander is staring like he's looking at somebody. I think Cord will have just a slight little kind of twitch moment, and before programmer restarts, would you like me to put on an EVA suit and go outside and investigate, Commander?
If you go out there, you're gonna die, Cord.
I am incapable of dying. Also, I do not need oxygen to breathe.
He's fucking out there. And he kind of floats back into the into the interior of the station. Like maybe he's going back to the commons or the barrack area.
Okay. I'm gonna pull myself over to the portal and investigate. See if I can look outside and maybe see what thinks he's seeing.
You look out, and only thing you see is space. Dark sky with pinpricks of light.
All right. Curious. Some tool must have been left outside, or some coupling has slipped loose. That would account for the banging. Yeah, I'm actually going to start making my way to an airlock to suit up and go outside and look.
Dope. So, you do that, right? And I imagine there'd be some sort of rigging. But before we get there, what is Wiskowski doing at this point? And did you get my message?
Yeah. I'm just figuring. Well, I was considering sending one back, but I might just actually act it out. I think Kozowski is actually going to wander away from everyone else if possible and move towards where the engineering part of the ship is.
All right. So, You move towards the engineering part. This is where all of the life systems, the power, everything like that is. The climate control, everything is kind of housed in this area.
I would like to take a frag grenade. And where the main power supply is, I would like to... Actually, I'm going to hook a frag grenade onto the main power supply. But rather than set it off, I want to put a tripwire so that anyone who walks into this section will set it off themselves.
All right, so Joseph, you didn't hear that. So let's just. I think we're gonna need a roll at least to be able to get that. So I think military training or I think military training is the proper role for that.
Cool.
And then we will get back to Cord on the outside. So obviously, Joseph, something is going on with your crewmate on the interior. This might be the shortest fucking session ever. So, especially depending on what happens here, right?
Yeah.
So you put your vac suit on. You make your way towards the airlock, I guess, right?
All right. And I would imagine the vac suit, like, I don't even need the air tank on it, but I would imagine it's more to kind of calm the rest of the crew, since I really don't breathe.
I would say
maybe it's
radiation.
for temperature.
Radiation.
Yeah, okay, yep. That
Right.
would make sense.
There's a lot of radiation in space, so that's probably the main reason why you'd wear one.
Right. Yeah, totally. Yeah, so I suit up and start pressurizing or sealing the inner door for the airlock and pressurizing to open the external hatch.
All right. So, you do that. Everything goes smoothly, and then you make your way out into space. Again, nothing but like black sky with pinpricks of light off in the distance. Maybe you recognize some of them as planets and stuff like that. Maybe some are a little brighter than others. And as soon as you get the airlock closed, right, you see like Richard's face on the other side of the airlock, and he's like kind of like laughing and smiling at you. And you like, if you like were to look in and see what he's doing, he's disabling the airlock door, like while you're out there.
Ooh. Commander, can you read me? Is there something wrong with the external door?
And you see him like bolt over to the comm, and he's like, I told you that you would die if you went out there. You're gonna become one of them. You're gonna become him. You're gonna become that one.
I still believe there is no other people out here. We are in deep space.
And he kind of gets close, and he can kind of like, you can kind of see his gesturing and everything like that. And he gets close to the intercom, and he kind of grits his teeth, and he's like, "You're gonna let them in. You're gonna let him in."
I assure you there is no one outside.
Oh, he's out there. And I bet you he's taking over your body. I bet you're one of them.
Is it perhaps that, with as empty as it is, that you are mainly feeling so alone that you are fabricating the personages of additional people?
And he kind of like throws his hands to his head and like puts his hands in his hair, and he's like, "You're not trying to call me crazy, are you, Cord?"
No, Commander. I'm merely suggesting that perhaps the stress of running out of food and the need to see more faces than just the 3 others you have seen is possibly wearing on you. It is probably exhaustion and hunger, Commander. perhaps you should go to the medical facility and layer yourself up with a stim pack or two. I am certain that will make you feel better.
Oh, I've had plenty of stim packs. I've used a lot of them. Cord, a lot of them.
Oh, well then perhaps a tranquilizer to counteract the effect, and maybe you can just get some sleep. I would not take too many of those.
I'll sleep when I die, Cord. And then he kind of you see him kind of leave the area, and Wiskowski plant this tripwire. What do you do after that?
Can I, from that side, from where I am, go through the computer side of the systems and force every door to go down into lockdown mode?
Yeah. Let's just roll a computers, an intelligence with I think computers is one of them, right?
Yeah, computers is one of them.
Yep.
Oh yes, I get a success. I think that's the first success.
So as soon as you get that that protocol typed in, the whole station gets kind of dark, and then a red flashing light starts to turn on, and starts to say Protocol 6 lockdown, and like all the doors kind of slam, and they all kind of shut and turn. So now you're in the module with the computers and the life systems and all of that fun stuff, Wiskowski.
Cool.
So your tripwire is basically for you now. But
am I able to tear open one of the walls and try to go through?
Are you going to use like
ventilation system or something?
Are you going to use any tools or anything like that?
Good old fashioned firepower.
Sure. Sure.
So yeah, because I would imagine in the very least there's ventilation, if not being able to tear it open to go through electronics, potentially between modules. Yeah, just basically fire into some of the metal of the wall, try and tear it open and get in that way so I can get through the rest of the ship.
All right, so just roll a combat roll. If you fail or pass, it's okay, but I'm just curious as to what the actual roll is.
55, so I fail.
And that's what I was wondering, if you critical failed or not.
Yeah.
So you shoot
the grenade
into the
goes off.
You shoot into the wall. Yeah, fuck it. The grenade goes off. You shoot into the wall, and like immediately you can start to hear like this suction noise, right? You can tell that the air is being like let out of the module.
Oh god, it's at this moment I wished I was a scientist. So the way the oxygen system works, is it possible for me to rip it off the wall and use it like a
I would say that I'd say that it's more like an oxygen generator, right? Like it's probably not like tanks or anything like that. So just so you remember, I don't know if anybody remembers this moment in history. I'll be a kind GM, but duct tape saved the Apollo 13 mission from losing atmosphere. So just so you know, like not all is lost necessarily. But the cabin is decompressing.
Is there anything around me that I can see that would work for that?
I guess maybe like if you like jam something in there, or like
Is it the size of a grenade?
Oh no, the grenade hasn't gone off. It's just like a bullet hole size hole sucking air out. Actually, I guess technically pushing. I heard it's pushing. Actually, it doesn't suck the air out. The air pushes itself out.
That makes sense. Yeah. I'm going to rip off my patch that says upstanding citizen and put that over the hole. And then I imagine there's something that kind of is capable of like some sort of torch or something in the actual space itself.
Probably.
See if I can sort of melt the patch onto the hole.
Let's say that is going to be some sort of engineering or I mean, I guess given enough time, you could melt poly. You do that, right? So like the atmosphere starts to like suck out, and you get this patch pushed over this hole, and you like use the torch and the polyester, and the patch melts, and it kind of seals around the thing, and like for a moment, like it starts to like restabilize. So,
Cool.
like, given enough time, I'm sure you would be able to get the vent off, right, in some fashion.
Yeah.
Right. Especially if we just said there's a torch in there, right? So if you want to go up into the air vents, that's dope. So, Cord, what is Cord doing as he is now outside, doors disabled?
I think thinking that I mean, it's got to be able to be re-enabled potentially by one of the other crew. I think he's going to continue to clip his lifeline down or his umbilical line and start investigating the outside hull of the station to see if he can discover what was originally banging.
So you start to look around, and everything looks pretty normal. But you come upon what looks like a small hole in the hull of what looks like the room where all the engineering stuff is.
He's gonna tap into the comms. Attention crew, we may potentially have a atmosphere breach. I have just located a hole in the outer hull wall in main engineering. Can anybody confirm? Sentry crew, do you read me?
And Sophie's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Hull breach? We're under lockdown for some reason. I don't know where Richard is or Wiskowski. They've both gone nuts. I'm trying to tell you."
Oh, lockdown. That might be because of the hull breach. I'm outside investigating where the previous knocking was coming from and have just located a hole. Is there any way you can disable some of the lockdown on the doors and make your way to engineering? We may be venting atmosphere.
I don't know how to fucking do that, Cord. I'll try, I guess. And radio goes dead.
He chimes one last thing through. If you need assistance, I can talk you through it.
I guess. Do you have any idea how to get these fucking doors open?
Well, first you have to open the panel to the left-hand side. First you must orientate yourself in the proper direction. Make sure your feet are on green line zeta. Then it will be a panel to your lower left. You'll need
Is
to
this really necessary, Cord? What do I have to do?
You're going to have to cut the main pressure line for the door actuators so that you can pry them open manually.
So I would say roll an intelligence roll to see if that.
All right. Intelligence, would possible mechanical repair or heavy machinery maybe apply?
Yep.
All right. Oh, that's only an extra 10%.
Yeah, they don't stack either. So if they're different, like
Yeah.
it's either one or
Cool.
the other.
So it's a 36 out of 55. That's a pass.
Okay, so yeah, she cuts. She's like, "I got it, Cord. I'm gonna make my way there and see what's up." And I have to do this for every fucking door.
Yes, that is the nature of a hard lockdown.
All right, whatever. And
Be careful when you get to engineering. If there is a breach, you may get pulled directly inside. So make sure you are secure with an umbilical line before opening that final door. Just in case. It would be awful if you were essentially sucked out into a partially open door. That would be a terrible way to die.
so, Wiskowski is in the air vents. What is he doing?
I think Wiskowski is going to. He's going to head towards where the food storage is. And would most of that be in the actual like shared common area, or is that going to be somewhere else in an actual storage space?
I would say it would probably be in the common area. It would be part of that that area. I'd say that you wouldn't transport food from any place to another place. It'd probably be all in one place.
Yeah, then he's definitely heading towards that space.
All right, so you make your way there, and before you get there, or before you like go into there, you can see through the vent that Richard is like gorging himself, like squirting various things. And again, this is all in 0G, so he's like squirting things, and it's like getting all over his face. He's completely like filthy, and he's talking to himself. He's like, he's out there. I'm positive he's out there. I know that he is. I am positive that he's out there. The others don't know that he's out there, and they don't believe me, but he's out there.
No one believes you.
And he's like, and he looks around, and he's like, what was that?
He's waiting for you. His embrace is ready.
And he like whatever the 0G equivalent of like falling to his knees, and I guess he kind of like curls into a ball, and he starts to like sob, and he's like, I knew it. I knew he was out there. He's coming to kill us all. We're all gonna die. And he starts kind of like in like a fetal position, ball like floating in the common area, covered in like various like goos and stuff like that from the food.
Can I open up a hatch quietly?
I mean, it's tight quarters, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I would say probably like a stealthy type thing is going to be pretty difficult. Like, you might be able to get the jump on him, but you're not going to be able to enter the room and then...
Okay.
What are you trying to do?
Well, considering my current state of mind, I was going to break it open, float down, and just hold him in a fetal position.
Oh, yeah, you can get to him. You're just going to hold him?
Well, potentially grab the condiments and drown him in the condiment, but the first step was just to hold him in a fetal position, floating in the air.
So, like, you're going to console him first, and then... All right. So, you jump out. He doesn't notice you, like jumping out of the air vent, and you're able to get up close to him. And at first, he starts to kind of freak out, right? So let's roll a opposed combat roll, and whoever gets the highest without going over.
25.
And I got a 9, so if you succeeded, then you win.
Yep, I did.
So he starts like freaking out and like squirming and everything like that, but you're able to like grab hold of him. That fitness in 0G is really really made a difference, right? So you're like now instead of just like cuddling him, like you're like aggressively cuddling him.
Yeah. Probably like to the point where stress fractures are starting to happen.
So you're like starting to like crack
Yeah.
into.
Yeah.
So I would say that you can do 1d10 minus 5 damage to him every round, and he's gonna try to get out. So
Cool. So that's 3 to begin with.
3 damage.
Yeah.
All right. So you start to hear like the air like escape from his lungs, but he's still. So this is another opposed combat roll.
Cool.
You know, military training or yeah, that would maybe apply if you have that.
Oh, critical fail.
And I passed. Right, I got 31. So, like he like is able to like he like hit, like shoots his head back and headbutts you, right in the face. Right, and you're gonna take 5 damage.
Cool.
And your nose starts to bleed, and it's like the blood is like floating in the air and everything like that. And he like looks at you and he kind of smiles, and there's like blood in it. Uh, it no, not blood. There's like the condiments and like the various like jellies and stuff like that all over his face, and he's like, he's not just gonna kill me, Wiskowski. He's gonna kill you too. And like he kind of like cowers back like into the like corner of the room.
And from Wazowski's point of view, his own blood from his nostril sort of forms this halo around Richard's head, and the condiments look heavenly in nature. And he sort of gets down on hands and knees and starts crawling towards Richards. Yes, you would know. They are coming. You know the word. You know the truth. This is the hour of our judgment. I've been saying it all along. And he sort of like crawls up till his hands are basically on Richard's like feet and starts like almost clawing up Richard's body.
All right. So I think this is a good time to take a break. We're almost an hour in. So
Cool.
Be right back.
Right on. Cool.
Cool.
All right. I'm actually going to refill my coffee and run my pup outside real fast. This is gnarly.
All right, I'm back. If anybody's also back.
Yep. I actually just got back and sat down. Stepped out for a quick smoke and ran my dog to do his business. We are going downhill fast. This is awesome.
This might be the shortest session I've ever ran. I've never ran a game where it was TPK possible. Well, no, I take that back. I had that random tornado encounter on my home game random encounter table, and everybody in the party failed their save and got sucked up in the tornado. And oh wait, no, only one person. It was only one person failed to save, but it was danger of TPK.
Yeah, right? Serious danger.
But she had sat down, made a character, we played for like 10 minutes, and then tornado encounter, and dead.
That's funny. That's brutal.
All right. So you are clawing. Like, are you like maliciously clawing at him, or like what it?
No, so it's more like a climb up his body.
Yeah.
So like grabbing handfuls of clothes and like parts of his body to like sort of drag myself up him.
And he's like, Scassi, what are you doing?
The light. You've met and seen the light. Share it. Share it with me.
And like he kind of like looks at you, and he's starting to get like I don't know if he's having like a moment of clarity right now or what, but he's like, Wiskowski, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you doing?
I'm having it out of character. I'm having a debate at the moment about what exactly I want to physically do here. Mostly because I don't know where people's limits or how much fun people have going too graphic. I think as I climb up, I'm going to grab both his wrists in one hand so that his hands are overlapped. And I'm going to pull my SMG out and shoot a hole through both palms.
Like in front of his face?
No, so above his head.
So I don't think let's just do a combat roll to see if you can force his hands up.
Yeah, cool. Can I check in military training?
Yeah. I got a 42 and passed, so
I got a 31 and passed.
So like he like starts to resist you and like breaks away, and like floats across the room, and he's like, Wiskowski, what the fuck are you doing? We don't need this shit. He's out there gonna kill us. I don't need you trying to kill me.
You can't keep him for yourself. You must share him. You must share him with us all. And I want to take a shot at his knee.
All right. So again, that's opposed combat rolls, and it seems like he's kind of like trying to retreat. So he's only going to be like trying to dodge your shot.
Yeah, I fail. So
he passed, and your bullet goes wide. It goes into the hatch door, so it's not like decompressing, but it's like through the door. And now he's like wildly trying to get away from you. It's not a large area either, so.
I would like to stab myself with a stim pack for the extra. It's 1d10 strength and speed, yeah?
All right, so while you're doing that, what is Cord doing now?
Yeah, a real quick Stimpack is 2d10 strength and combat for d10 hours.
Ooh,
I got notes on him. Yeah, so Cord will be basically trying to find a viewport that he can kind of peek in to try and locate people. And also looking for some type of cable junction that he might be able to patch into the comms from outside, like manual override control of the comms.
So, you were near the engineering pod, right? And you look through one of the portholes, and you see that that Sophie is getting close to the engineering. And
Or
like as far as like patching in, I think you probably have like open communication with the comms, right? With the in the vac suit.
yeah, well, what I'm looking to patch into is so that I can listen in,
Oh,
so
so
that
you-
I can like override it. So like basically all of them are on, so I can hear what's going on, and the sound I guess would probably by default go through all of the comms. So they would just be like permanently switched on, as if somebody was holding down the speak button or something.
okay, sure. Let's roll intellect with any applicable skills.
Okay. Computers or mechanical repair? Well, I guess either way, it's a extra 10%.
Yeah.
I rolled a 20 out of 55.
All right. So you do find that. So now you are patched in.
Okay. And after kind of listening to some of the stuff going on, just gonna call out. Can someone let me in? It would be really helpful and beneficial to everyone if you could let me in.
So you hear this Wiskowski over the comm. Richard kind of looks at the comm, the intercom speaker, and looks at you.
There is great danger approaching. It would be really nice if you could let me in. There is a problem in engineering. I fear you may all be lost soon. You will need my help.
So you hear this Wiskowski, and Richard's looking at the speaker where the comm comes through, and kind of looking at you wildly.
Is that something I can do from here?
No, you have to go. And remember, Richard disabled the door.
Mm,
Like you don't know that, but he disabled the door.
mm. Um. And Sophie's not responding at all, is she?
No, but Core just saw her making her way to the engineering room.
Okay.
Are you feeling well?
So,
You can respond. I am able to hear you.
thank you, Cord. But can you hear the voices we hear? Can you hear they who speak to Richard? He knows, but he won't tell. Has he told you?
It depends on what you mean by what has he told me. I do know there are people outside. I have yet to see them.
He will share with you, but not with me.
Perhaps,
What have I done? Why has he not let me come into the kingdom of the Lord? Why?
perhaps if you let me in, I can share the details.
All of you were against me this entire time, weren't you? All of you wanted to keep me out. All of you wanted to dare me in the same way.
We have been with you the entire time.
Can our comms see? So I've got a body cam. Can I send an image to the body cam through the comms rather than speaking?
Sure.
Cool. I think it just cuts the body cam, and I'm going to lunge again on the comm stims at Richard.
So, like, what are you trying to do?
Basically, I want a clear view of Richard's head being smacked into the floor again and again and again and again.
Okay. So, we are both rolling combat against each other,
Cool.
and I failed. So if you pass,
I got a 28.
So
Yeah, I passed like by heaps. With my military training and like the stim pack, I am currently rolling under a 63.
I fear you are both unwell.
So let's just do instead of me tracking the HP on this, right? Let's just do best 2 out of 3.
Cool. This is 17.
I failed again, so that's automatically the 2, right?
Cool.
So like, how do you like dispatch Commander Richard Lancer, Dick Lancer?
So it's like the body cam image of you see like the screen just lunging towards and these hands grabbing onto the head of Richard, and it's just smack into the floor as the hands sort of like move until the thumbs are over the eye sockets, and it's like as it's smacking, it's pushing in, and you can just hear this, "Why won't you let me see? Why won't you let me see?" And yeah, until like blood and bile sort of sprays half the camera, and you can just see tiny bits of what you could originally.
There are some actions that cannot be undone.
And like just as like the final bits of blood and gore and blood spray and everything like that kind of like settle, if that makes any sense, and the blood starts to kind of pool out and I guess it wouldn't be pooling, right? We're talking about 0G, so it's floating amongst the room, kind of every once in a while, like splattering a little bit on the walls and on the ceiling, and on the floor, whatever that means in a space where up is down and down is up.
Right, like a lava lamp of gore.
Yeah,
and
of blood.
You suddenly hear Sophie over the comm cord, and did you make it so that like everybody can hear everybody, or?
Yep.
Okay, so Sophie says, "Hey Cord, I don't know what that was that I just heard, but I just made it to the engineering room," and you hear like a clip, and the like the hatch, the sound of like a hatch opening, and you feel like this like large shudder, and you see like from where you're at, like you're right next to that area, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that you need to make let's say a strength with like a 0G if you have that.
Oh boy. Right now I'm hoping the tether holds.
Let's say that it's at advantage because there's a tether.
Oh, okay. Which is good. Maybe this second die will save me. Nope. Failed on both counts.
All right. So, like, it starts to get, and I think actually what we'll do is a crisis check here instead, right? Of like a regular check. So what this works is it's kind of another best 2 out of 3 kind of thing. So you just roll, and this is going to be a crisis 2. So that means that you have to get 2 in a row.
Okay, two successes in a row.
Yeah.
Wow. First one, 29, straight on 29. That's a 1. And a total fail.
All right. So, like, the explosion kind of like shears the cord, and you find yourself like floating in space. And Wiskowski, you feel the shudder, and like the lights start to flicker in an odd way. And you're in this module, like sitting in like a pool of fucking blood. Actually, and hold on, can we retcon something? I guess if you were tethered, though, like I shouldn't like. That's not really a saves type situation, right?
Well, I
Like,
mean, it would still blow me off of the thing. I mean, the tether is only so long, but if some of the structure blew up and cut that line, then I would totally be free floating.
Because I'm thinking now that maybe that shouldn't have been a save situation. Anyway, so we'll figure that out here in a second. What is Wiskowski doing?
I was going to say, what if so the tether gets cut, the explosion sends the station in a bit of a spin, so that he's actually going to hit the station as it's like sort of careens towards him a bit.
Okay.
Right. Chance to grab one.
Just to make for no other sake than to give us a little more time for the game, because it's only we've only been playing for an hour and 15 minutes, and 10 of that is a fucking break. So
yeah, that got intense fast.
Yeah, I guess so. In hindsight, I don't think I'm going to do the 1d10 stress. So at the beginning, so I did it last time, but I did the rules wrong, right? I did the stress as D100 saves, right? So getting D10 stress every once in a while wasn't that big a deal. It's 10%, 5% more. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the game, everything got shitty, right? Because everybody had built up that stress. This just happened with the 2D10 roll. It happens with so that's a learning experience, because I almost prefer the wrong way, right? Like like doing the D100 for stress instead, and doing a 3D10 roll on the table versus the 2D10 plus stress. But anyway, what is Wiskowski doing in this module? Lights flickering eerily, blood and gore underneath of him.
So is the actual station ventilating air at this point?
Well, I mean, I think the lucky thing is that you have closed all the doors, right? And the entire purpose of the doors is so that the thing can be separate modules. Like, there's places where you could add on and everything like that, right?
Cool. So I'm going to dragging the body with me. Start unlocking doors to get to a vac suit.
Okay.
Or
I'd say that this ship is still intact.
Yeah, or my own standard battle dress, which I haven't been wearing. I don't know if that would actually have oxygen, though.
I'd say whatever, in anything outside of a vac suit, whether or not it's a victim of the explosion, is going to be a luck roll. So what I do, I learned this from a friend. What I do is, for luck, you roll your lowest stat, right? So whatever your lowest stat is,
No. So yeah, I will go find a vac suit then. Put that on. See if I can override the system to open up all the doors again.
Yeah. So computers.
Cool. Which I do not have, but intellect.
Yep.
No, 81.
So you're able to like open doors manually. You figured that out. I think maybe you overheard the comm between Sophie and Cord or something like that. So you're able to do that, but you're not able to. Your marine training is failing you and the ability to hack into the system remotely.
Okay. So what I might do is I'm planning on going to the basically the plant laboratory, where I assume it's basically a garden. And I want to, along the way, basically open up an airlock in all connecting rooms to there, so the room itself is emptied of oxygen. And then basically crucify Richard's body up on a back wall.
Yeah.
All right. So, you're making your way there. Cord, you're like flailing from a cord, right? Cord is hanging from a cord. And the station is like careening and it smacks you, and you take 1 damage. And what are you doing?
First, I'm definitely going to try and grab onto that, or hold onto the side of the station so I don't get beaten around some more.
Yeah, let's use your strength.
Okay. Oh man, my lowest stat. 88.
Crit fail. This happened to the android in my home game, which is kind of weird that this is kind of exactly the same thing. I've given you every opportunity to stay alive. Describe how the android floats off into space.
All right, so he desperately tries to grab onto part of the station, but the damage is just too extensive. One of the parts of the bulkhead of the hull shears that cable, and as he tries to grab it, more just bounces off and kind of goes spinning end over end. Watching the station get farther and farther as it's careening off another way, and he knows the comms are going to fail soon, so he patches in to send his mission data through the main communications hub.
Hold that. I have something. So instead of doing that, I have something for it in a second. All right. Like I know what you're doing, but I have something that I think you'll like instead. Right. So, Wiskowski, did you say anything like as before the comms failed, or?
Cool. Yeah, he's actually just going to call out one last time. You are not alone, unless you choose to be.
Yeah, I think at this point, all you hear is like a low mumbling of Latin, but in a strong, like, Czechoslovakian accent. And that's just all that's coming from, like, the sort of, like, half-broken comm that...
Liberate me.
Yeah. So, what is Wiskowski doing? So you said that he's getting his vac suit and he's going to depressurize the entirety of the station, right?
Yeah, one by one if he can. And then just basically...
So what's your end goal? Like, I'm curious as to what the end goal of the...
Out of character was a showdown in, like, the in the garden with a crucified Richardson.
That's what I was figuring, like, hang him in the plant room is crucifixion in the garden.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, do that thing. And then what? I mean, I guess we have to talk about, like, what are your long-term goals, right? Because, yeah, the station is completely empty and you have Richard there.
So there'd be life rafts on the station, yeah?
Maybe yeah, sure.
Something with like a bit of a cryo chamber?
Yeah, I don't think that cryogenics is a thing yet for space travel. Okay. But they're able to get there. That's why even like it takes like 60 days, and that I don't know. I guess it's probably
some form of escape pod.
Yeah. But
small
it's
craft.
probably just like it probably doesn't fly, right? It just probably just sits in space.
It's like shot, kind of.
Yeah.
Automatic like SOS transponder beacon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was. If I could have gone into cryo, I would have been like just stim packed like 6 stim packs at once, gone into cryo. So the moment they opened it up, I just hulked it out.
The messed up thing is like even with an escape pod, like you would figure it's probably normally based on the station's normal sitting spot for it to shoot out, and if it's like spinning because of the explosion, like who knows
What
where
way?
that thing's
Yeah.
going. That's awesome.
Oh, all else failing, I suppose I could just blow up the station. Which probably makes the most sense at this point, yeah. Cleanse in a holy fire.
So
yeah,
you
I'm
drag
going.
this body to the garden and crucify it, and then what? You're gonna.
I'm going to find all the chemical compounds throughout the labs, along with any explosives that are there, and I'm going to one by one set up structural points where they'll be most effective to break up the station itself. But try and do it in a way where the garden itself is kept intact.
Nice.
All right. So why don't you just go ahead and play out because I think we have come to the end, right? This is the. I've never ran a session that ended this quickly, but I think it only makes sense that it's over, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I went insane 15 minutes in, so.
So, what? Yeah, just tell me what the end for you is, and then I have something.
So there's images of Wiskowski just wandering through, making different chemicals in different places, setting up all these little grenades and finding extra bits of equipment that could be used as explosives along hallways. There's lots of long shots of empty spaces. There's a brief interlude of the actual common area where there's still that pillar of blood everywhere. There's the big empty open hole from where the actual power section of the station has been blown off. And then one by one, there's just explosions from the hallways themselves, filling the areas with fire. And it cuts to the plant section itself with its door closed, little eruptions of fire as the heat sort of heats the metal. And from the outside, you just see these tiny explosions on the station as it starts splitting up and drifting slowly apart.
Dope. So you are and that's where you're at, is in the plant module.
No.
Oh, went down with the rest of the ship.
Yeah.
All right.
That's gnarly.
Cord's power shuts completely down, and Cord awakens in a ship that you would probably recognize as one of the regular transport ships. And a commander of the name of Lucian that you know. He goes, so how long did it take this time?
We were only 29 days in absence from any communication. The isolation seemed to prove most disastrous. First, there was talks directly to religion, as expected, but very quickly turned to Judgment Day, followed with hallucinations and paranoia, widespread throughout the entire crew. Violence towards each other happened quite quickly, along with madness and confusion. I have to say, you will surely be able to download all the information from my data processors, but it got quite bloody. I then lost communication after the first explosions as I was sent careening into the blackness, Commander.
They don't ever seem to make it. This seems to be the worst one yet, though. And then...
Man.
All right. I'm going to stop the broadcast. Thank you to anybody who watches in the future. This is the shortest session that I have ever ran, short of running for my children because they only have 30-minute attention spans. Thank you.